Most of us in our 20s and 30s, we work hard and we play hard. So when I tell people how much I save, they usually ask, what's the purpose of all that? You only live once. Let's travel the world, make memories, buy nice things. But did you ever wonder, what happens after that? The average Filipino has 5,000 pesos in his savings accounts. That means we're paycheck to paycheck. Get sick tomorrow, you're in trouble. Lose your job, how many months could you actually survive on? If you want to retire, how much do you need? Our generation, we don't talk about money. But I'm a bit different. When I first started working, I had one simple goal: financial security. And I hit that goal a long time ago. If I get sick tomorrow, I'm well covered. If I lost my job, I'm good for a couple of years. If my family needs help, I'm there to support them. And I'm able to do all that while living on my own. Later on, I developed a second goal: financial freedom. Everyone has their own definition. For me, it doesn't mean I'll quit my job or retire early, but if I wanted to, I could freely do so. While I still haven't achieved this goal yet, I'm well on track. The strange thing with both these goals is that they are achievable on just two sources of income: a paycheck, savings and investments. And that gets me excited because anything I build from here on out, that's just going to accelerate my financial goal. But I wouldn't be here without changing some mindsets. You're going to have to overcome some things. So if you're with me on this journey to financial security and financial freedom, then listen on. And don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. People tell me I'm different, and I agree. The first mindset that I challenged is something that experts tell us all the time: 50, 30, 20. I'm sure you've heard it before. 50% goes to your needs and expenses, 30% goes to your wants, and 20% goes to your savings and investments. And I knew early on that I would have to challenge this if I were to achieve my financial goal. I started on a salary of 30,000 pesos per month. And at the time, I had zero business skills. The only thing I really knew was to be an employee. And when you're young and you're making money for the first time, it's easy to spend. Money in, money out. All your colleagues are doing it. Traveling, buying new iPhones, at Starbucks. But what they don't tell you is the odds are stacked against you. And that's something I knew, and I made a promise to myself it was going to be different. In my limited knowledge and capacity, I did the one thing I could do. I cut down on expenses. Since I lived with my parents, I was a bit lucky, so rent was off the list. I then commuted to work instead of taking a car, and I made some difficult decisions. I cut back on many luxury items. Because of that, I couldn't relate to the people around me. So less friends, and therefore, less going out. Those simple moves brought my savings way up. But you don't want to put that hard-earned cash in the bank. You don't earn that way. So what I did, I put in investments, stocks, high-earning savings accounts. And to protect that little wealth I had built, I bought insurance. And with just a basic paycheck and savings and investments, before I turned 25, I earned my first million. It's not a lot, but it's a start. Soon, I realized that you can only save on so much. So I challenged the second mindset and I changed jobs. Work hard in a company, be loyal, and over time, you will be rewarded. That's what my parents taught me. And when I first started working, my bosses were well into their 40s and 50s. They were the clear examples. Work hard, stay long, climb the ladder, and you'll get paid. But did you know, employees who stay longer than 2 years in a company get paid 50% less over a 10-year lifespan? And you may have experienced it yourself. Your salary grows 3 to 5% per year. And maybe you've been passed up on a promotion because your company has an annual quota. Whatever the reason, you're losing out. If you've lived through 2020, then you'll know job security isn't a sure thing. Large traditional companies such as airlines and malls were cutting employees left and right. So if you're working, make sure you get paid and make sure you have enough in case that income disappears overnight. That's not to say you should resign tomorrow. There are companies out there who are great employers where you can build your career and your wealth. But for the rest of us, we're going to have to decide. Is this where we want to spend the rest of our lives? In my case, it just wasn't for me. So guess what? My income doubled. The funny thing is, they tell you as your income doubles, so does your stress. But that totally isn't true. And now that I had financial stability, I could focus even more on my work. When your money grows, experts tell us that your expenses grow as well. You tend to reward ourselves, maybe with a new car, a bigger apartment, more dining out. We call this lifestyle inflation. In my case, I moved out of the house. And that's where the real challenge began, because I was now covering rent, food, and other items which I was previously getting for free. And this was the first time that I really experienced the power of e-commerce. November 11, 2019, I bought my first online item, 2 pairs of sneakers at 50% off. And I thought that was it. That was the moment where my desires finally craved in. But you know what? That was the last item I bought in 2 years. The nice thing about building financial habits early is that they stick. While I could afford much more, I chose to live simply. I ate lunch and dinner in the pantry. I went to a free gym. And when I traveled, I made sure to do it on a budget. Since then, my income has continued to grow. But my expenses have remained the same. And that's allowed me to build wealth. I'm not rich. But then again, how do you define rich? $1 million? 5? 10? 20? That's for you and I to decide. But at the end of the day, I can assure you, I'm very secure. This lifestyle is not for everyone. We all have our different goals and different definitions of success. But I tell you, whether you're working or you have a business, it's not how much money you can make, but how much money you can keep. Breaking these mindsets is not going to make you a millionaire overnight. But if you play the game long enough, then you will reach your goals. It's a marathon, not a sprint. If you like this video, then please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It will go a long way towards helping us make more content for our fellow Filipinos. And in our next video, I'll be giving you concrete steps on how you can save 70% of your income. And if I told you you could achieve all that with just a regular job and investments, would you believe it?